Battle through the heavens. Grand World. Chapter 280 Level 3 Spirit Origin Array. 1 Spirit Origin Stone can support you to cultivate in the Spirit Source Formation for 12 hours. However, this is relative to the first grade Spirit Source Formation. The Spirit Source Formation above Heavenly Peak is a second grade Spirit Source Formation. It requires 10 Spirit Origin Stones in order to cultivate for 12 hours. At the top of the Heavenly Peak, Elder Fang and Xiao Yan stood side by side. The former pointed at the Spirit Source Formation not far away and spoke slowly. Xuan and Kai Lin stood behind the two of them, their beautiful eyes flowed with happiness. 10. Xiao Yan lightly nodded his head when he heard this, but he didn't care about it at all. According to the reward given by the elder in front of him, according to the ratio of 1:1 Monarch Crystal, there was a total of 200,000 storage rings in his storage ring. Comparatively, the consumption of 10 Spirit Origin Stones was not worth mentioning. Based on this, the third grade Spirit Origin Formation, which is the formation specially rewarded to you this time, requires 100 Realm in Valleys at a time. The fourth grade Spirit Origin Formation in Realm in Valley requires 1000 Spirit Origin Stones at a time. Therefore, these 200,000 Spirit Origin Stones are not considered a lot. Furthermore, according to what I know, the Yuan Tianmu of Realm in Valley killed Shen Tu this time and obtained 100,000 Spirit Origin Stones. However, these 100,000 Spirit Origin Stones can only buy a single green explosive killing talisman. After saying that, Elder Fang took out a yellow bamboo slip. The surface of the bamboo slip was engraved with strange patterns. Spiritual light kept swimming under the patterns, as if it was imprisoned by the patterns. This is the book of formations used to seal the Spirit Source Formation. It's a third grade formation book. In the entire Yunluo Academy, there are only a dozen scrolls. Consider this as a reward for the Saint rank trial participant. Elder Fang took a look at the yellow bamboo slip in his hand and took a deep breath. He came to the front of the Spirit Source Formation and took out a blank yellow bamboo slip. He laid it flat on the ground and muttered something. All the Origin Monarch Ki on his body scattered in all directions, and in an instant, a wild wind surged in this area. The second grade Spirit Origin Array from before had already transformed into a ray of light and entered the blank bamboo slip in front of Elder Fang. Instantly, the appearance of a Spirit Source Formation appeared on the blank bamboo slip. Xiao Yan stood by the side. He curiously looked at Elder Fang's actions. It turned out that the formation could be inscribed into the formation book. This had also allowed Xiao Yan to broaden his horizons. After putting the second grade Spirit Origin Formation into the formation book, Elder Fang wiped the sweat off his forehead. His strength was only at the Monarch Emperor, and completing such a huge project would consume a lot of his energy. He placed the yellow bamboo slip in his hand on the ground and ripped it open. The Origin Monarch Ki in this world began to surge crazily, as if it was attracted by something. Elder Fang's body turned into a sea, while Xiao Yan stood at the side. He could clearly feel the restlessness in his body. It had been a long time since he advanced to the 6th Dao Monarch Spirit. The Origin Monarch Ki that had stopped moving in his body had actually increased crazily. The 6 Origin Chains were making loud noises in his body. The 7th Origin Chains was slowly forming in his Origin Monarch Crystal. Formation formed. Elder Fang lightly shouted as his palm lightly clasped onto the formation book. The Origin Monarch Ki all over his body continuously flowed into the bamboo slip. The spiritual light within the bamboo slip became brighter and brighter, dazzling and dazzling. A huge energy soared into the sky, scattering the clouds around the heavenly peak. What a powerful energy! It's even stronger than the high-grade spiritual altars in the illusory spirit realm. Xuan raised her head and looked at the sky above Xiao Yan. Her beautiful eyes were filled with surprise. Kai Lin also gently nodded her head. Just by looking at the aura of this third-grade spiritual source array, it was much stronger than the second-grade spiritual source array. The illusory spirit realm was filled with incomparably rugged obstacles and crises. The spiritual altar was the thing that the students dreamt of entering. The higher the spiritual altar, the denser the Origin Monarch Ki contained within would be and the greater the benefits of cultivation. While the few of them were exclaiming in admiration, Elder Fang finally stood up slowly and panted heavily. At the same time, an intense light erupted from the formation book on the ground. A spiritual source formation that was flashing with a golden light slowly emerged from the formation book and landed on the spot where the second grade spiritual source formation was. The moment the third grade spirit source formation appeared, the Origin Monarch Ki between the heavens and earth whistled over. The entire heavenly peak was filled with origin ki that soared into the sky. It was dazzling and resplendent, and it had become the most dazzling of the 10 heavenly peak. I almost exhausted this old bone to death. Elder Fang exclaimed. He exhaled a breath of air and his face was somewhat pale. He put away the book of formation and sat on a stone bench in front of the courtyard with the help of Xiao Yan. He rested for a moment before he spoke with a bitter smile. The origin monarch key needed to open a third-grade spirit source formation is too large. Even I have exhausted all of my origin monarch key. Fortunately, it has been opened. As he spoke, Elder Fang looked at Xuan'er and Kai Lin beside him and said amiably, the two of you, as well as Guyuan and Zhu Kun, the academy has also prepared a second-grade spirit source array for you. Tomorrow at the latest, the book of arrays sealing the spirit source array will be released. When the two girls heard this, they were both delighted. Even Kai Lin, her beautiful eyes looked at Xiao Yan and nodded without saying anything. Her man had risked his life to get what he wanted. There was no reason for him to reject it. All of you should stay here and cultivate with Xiao Yan. As for Guyuan and Zhu Kun, I'm afraid that they won't be able to stay here in peace. Elder Fang chuckled. Then, he suddenly looked at Xiao Yan and said with a cunning smile, especially you. During this period of time, you have to improve your strength even more. You are now the public enemy of the inner courtyard. Xiao Yan was slightly stunned when he heard this. He glanced at Xuan'er and Kai Lin and instantly understood. He immediately shook his head and laughed softly, so what if you are the public enemy? One comes and one goes. 2 months to fight a pair. Hearing Xiao Yan's words, Xuan'er's heart felt sweet. She could not help but recall the matter at Jianan Academy. At that time, Xiao Yan was undoubtedly much weaker than he was now. However, for her, he could still face the experts of the strong ranking. The current Xiao Yan was still fearless. Kai Lin faintly looked at Xiao Yan when she heard this, but the corner of her mouth revealed a trace of a smile. This guy was really not bad. Okay. Say one more thing. The elders decided to hold a match in inner courtyard competition in a month's time. This time, the 4 of them were given 4 spots for the second-grade spirit source formation. Although it was only natural for Saint rank trial participants to be enjoyed, it would probably cause dissatisfaction among many people. You all should cultivate well during this month. When the time comes for the competition, give them a loud and clear slap in the face. Elder Fang looked at Xiao Yan with praise, then spoke with a serious expression, causing Xiao Yan to frown slightly. Xiao Yan was about to speak when Kai Lin spoke coldly. All right, let them know that we obtained the second-grade spirit origin formation with our own abilities. When Xiao Yan heard this, he smiled bitterly and did not speak anymore. This proud queen's self-esteem was still as strong as before. When Xuan'er saw this, she could not help but laugh. Her black eyes were like a crescent moon, making people feel tender and loving. I have brought the words. All of you should cultivate well. After recovering for a while, Elder Fang stood up and left with a smile on his face. Xiao Yan didn't force him to stay and stood up to see him off. Xiao Yan stood there without saying anything as he watched Elder Fang leave. It was a long while later before he finally turned around. The confidence on his face had once again recovered. Just like what Kai Lin had said, no matter what kind of challenge it was, one only needed to rely on one's ability to accept it. As he thought about it, Xiao Yan looked at the spirit source formation that was flickering with a golden light not far away. He couldn't help but feel delighted in his heart. The origin chains in his body had already started to emit a rustling sound. Now, it seemed like he could no longer suppress that feeling. Xuan'er and Kai Lin looked at Xiao Yan and exchanged glances with each other. After which, both of them laughed softly. They quietly sat on the stone bench and watched Xiao Yan walk straight towards the spirit source formation. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.